Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking at the brand new cards which have been introduced within episode 50 of Yu-Gi-Oh 7s. Annihilation is a normal trap card with the requirement you can activate if you control a face-up monster and must be level 10 or higher when your opponent's monster declares an attack. The effect is monsters cannot be destroyed by that battle. This is actually very good if you're using a maximum summon deck, so if you've got a maximum monster out, since they're all level 10 or higher, they will be protected from being destroyed in battle. Typically this will be used as a way of protecting your monster, as the likelihood is your opponent is probably in a last dash attempt to try and get rid of it. Checkrail the Sun Angel Yo is a level 4 fire attribute fairy type normal monster with 1500 attack and 0 defense. I think this is quite decent. They're starting to pick up on the normal monsters a little bit in that they're actually getting a decent maybe stat line up. It used to be the higher end is 1400, now it's 1500. It mentions as a note the Yu means sun. Also it sounds like Yo, which is commonly used in Japanese rap music culture. Hero is the Yeet is a level 4 Earth attribute warrior type normal monster with 1500 attack and 0 defense. It mentions in the notes this card's name is a play on Hero of the East, and he's pretty sure it's meant to be another part of Gakuto's lame rap brigade. Its Japanese name is like Mi's the Hero. I know there was a card called Hero of the East and I think it had 1100 attack and 1200 defense. So it's an upgrade of that if you want to consider it that way. It's fine because, again, like I was saying, normal monsters don't have any effects. And since at the moment the gap for level 4 monsters has peaked at 1500, this is another one of those examples. Demonic Hermit Vessel Kachizusaku is a level 7 fire attribute winged beast effect monster with 2100 attack and 2100 defense. Your requirement, you can activate by sending one monster that's a level 7 or higher from your hand to graveyard. The effect, this card gains 1000 attack until the end of the turn. If you sent a monster that's a warrior type or winged beast type for this card's requirement, you can also choose one normal monster that's a level 6 or lower in your graveyard and add it to your hand. I like the design of this card. I think it's actually quite usable. It does make itself 3100 attack, but it's fine as an effect. You're pitching a card, hopefully being able to recover another card. It does have to send a level 7 or higher, and you only get to recover a monster that's level 6 or lower, so they are trying to avoid you from constantly recycling the same discard fodder. If that had been aligned so that those levels had met, that means you wouldn't really be using a cost to boost this card's attack points up. It's just enough to get over things like a Blue Eyes White Dragon, but I would be concerned that since its base stat for a level 7 is 2100, it's a bit too weak to justify it being at that range. It might have deserved a little bit higher in its defense, if not in its attack. It mentions as part of the notes that the card name is based on Kachisusumi to win and go on to the next round, and probably Suzaku now that it's been pointed out to me, so it's probably Isisaku for the old boss. Wicked Warding Weasel's Wind is a normal spell card with the requirement you can activate if your opponent controls a face-up monster, must be a level 6 or higher. The effect is to choose one face-up monster you control. It gains 1000 attack until the end of the turn. Your opponent chooses one face-up attack position monster they control and changes it to face-up defense position. This is another card I like the effect for because it does target one of your opponent's high-level monsters. That forces one of your monsters to gain 1000 attack points. That might be enough to defeat your opponents. And if they've got only that one monster on the field in attack position, they'll be forced to change it to defense mode. Even if they have other cards, you could potentially get rid of those and then use this effect. Bowing of the Graying Gauze Guild is a normal trap card with the requirement when your opponent conducts their normal draw, during the draw phase, you can activate by paying 1000 life points. The effect is to choose up to 2 face-up attack position monsters on your field and change them to face-up defense position. This is an effect I don't like. It would have been nice if this had activated when your opponent went into the battle phase, but actually doing this during their draw phase, you're costing yourself 1000 life points, and your opponent has seen what this card is. If this had been face down, they might have been scared, it might have been a destruction effect. And the other thing is, it can only be activated during the draw phase, and it changes your monster's modes to defense mode. So they already know what you've done and what you've planned, and can use a strategy to get around that. Fortified Fiendish Forest Fiend Force Z is a normal trap card with the requirement if a monster you control changes its battle position due to the opponent's effect, you can activate by sending the top card of your deck to the graveyard. The effect is to choose one attack position monster you control and change it to face up defense position. During this turn, the monster chosen by this effect, while face up, cannot be destroyed by battle. So I can understand the point of this card. If you're able to just swap a battle position of an opponent, that means you can just discard a card from the top of your deck, and then you can actually make one of your monsters change to defense mode. It's likely you're not going to take any damage because they might not have any piercing effects on, and it does have that protection from battle destruction for that turn. I consider it a little bit like D-Shield in that changes the monster's mode. But that's an equip card and it works for the Destiny heroes all the time, whereas this is just a one-off effect. And the final card is Refined Rulers, the 3 Fiendish Commanders. This is a normal trap card with the requirement, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can activate by sending the top card of your deck to the graveyard. The effect is you gain 1000 life points. If you have Fiendish Commander Yem Ruler, Fiendish Commander Kim Ruler, and Fiendish Commander Sema Ruler, you can shuffle those 3 cards into the deck. If you shuffle them, both players take damage equal to the attack of the attacking monster. The life point gain is very weak. I mean, it's okay, it's 1000 life points, but it's not really going to protect you for that long. It does rely on your opponent going into their battle phase, which means it's a battle reactive card, and those can always be destroyed by things like Mystical Space Typhoon. It also requires 3 very specific monsters to be on your field to be able to use the destruction, the damage effect. It's really not that good. I think Ring of Destruction is a better example of a card that actually does something that's beneficial. This doesn't even get rid of your opponent's attacking monster. You just both take damage equal to its attack. So that's okay, but you're getting rid of 3 monsters you have on the field, and the likelihood is your opponent is then going to attack you directly with their attacking monster. It's not simply that it negates their attack, so you're going to always be taking more damage than your opponent, both in card effect and in battle damage. It mentions as a note, Rura sounds like ruler, which is a huge thing of Gakuto's story arc, what it means to be a ruler, as he is like the president of the school council, and that's just alongside his storyline. What do you guys think of these cards? Do you think any of them are usable? Personally for me, I think none of them are that great. I think they're all very forgettable and very specific. You could probably easily disjoint those decks from actually going off very quickly. Whatever you think, leave those comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content.